made of milk and honey.
Oop-a-da-doop-a-da-doop-a-da-doop. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, like 10 seconds before we went live, I realized that I had never
adjusted the camera from Friday.
I had never adjusted the camera, and I was like, oh. Somehow jumped up and was like, we got it. I can't get up legally as I have a cat. That's just the rules.
He's so tired.
He's so tired.
He had a long day yesterday.
Oh.
Of sleeping.
Probably sleeping. Probably. Maybe my guess. Probably sleeping. We wouldn't know. We were not here yesterday basically at all. We had a long day.
Yes. Kepi, how about you do breakfast stream and let us go back to bed? No? Okay.
He's sleeping. He's sleeping. Anyway, hi folks. I hope that everyone had a good weekend. We had a good weekend.
Yeah, we did have a good weekend.
We had a good weekend. Our Sunday was interesting because we did our first ever puzzle stream.
Yep, in the new space.
And that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I haven't gotten that VOD out on YouTube, and I should do that. Let me make a reminder. Remind me at 10:30 to release puzzle stream. Because I'm pretty sure I have it uploaded. So if folks haven't seen it... Krijan says, puzzle stream was great. Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
It was fun. We will have to do another one because we didn't finish the puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's currently on our
table
in the dining room.
I had to make a box to cover it because it's the perfect thickness of something Kepler would like to chew.
Yeah. Haley says, puzzle stream. Ooh. It's, I'm going to talk a little bit about puzzle stream today, and, like, I mean, how that went and how it's set up, and why on earth we're doing some puzzle streams. But we'll talk about that soon.
I've ever seen that bird.
That does look like a new bird. Dizzy bird. I mean, there were like 69 birds or whatever, so it's possible that it has not yet all the birds have been found. Has it shown up a couple times?
Oh, okay.
Okay. They remember better than I think I could.
I'm very tired, so...
We are very tired. Yeah. Getting home last night, I was driving the car last night, and I was like, you know, I never feel like this is at a great distance. And last night I was like, this is a great distance. This is a great distance.
Do you want to talk about that first before puzzle stream?
Sure. But the first thing I'm going to do
is read the alerts.
Just read alerts.
Yep.
Like this.
The most creepy zombies all desire Tiny Eddie's rat twists.
Yeah. Is that like a king rat?
This actually makes a lot of sense. That's about some Darkins that says, if you need pick-me-up, Tiny Eddie has you covered. Snack food ahoy. This actually almost works because it sounds... Tiny Eddie's rat twist. It's just rats. It's just rats.
It's a king rat.
Twisted.
You know what a king rat is when their tails get all knotted together. That's a king rat.
What? How do you know this? I believe you, I just don't know where this information comes from. Anyway, there's also a song called King Rat.
I know there is.
By Modest Mouse.
I think that's why I looked it up.
Oh. Anyway, I'm just thinking like zombies probably would love to eat rats.
Yeah.
That'd probably be like a little snack for them. A little like we have Cheetos, zombies have rats.
Twist.
We got 21 months from the Reload, 29 from Maya Rails, 20 from Ketsueki Randy, 30 months. I guess I could say Randy.
You're tired.
Well, the first word, the Japanese pronunciation, so it just worked into Randy. Helio King our rats. 30 months from Throwdown, 25 from Anton. 3 from Kiwili Scipio says, what is this? Watching live, eating breakfast, wearing the shirt? Now you know something's weird for this banker. Oh, that's right. There's a honk of a wedding this week. Mentally losing it. In all seriousness, send good vibes, please. Fiance's sick.
Oh, good vibes for the wedding itself getting to that, because the last week is a hard one. And then for fiance getting better.
I send good vibes. I'm going to be honest. And this might be part of just the fact that I probably still require more sleep. I thought perhaps this was a song, which you probably were like, what are you talking about? I was reading this and I was like, I got halfway through and I was like, what song is this? Like, is this one of,
Steven.
Is this one of the verses to Smoke on the Water? And it was not at all. Not even supposed to be remotely close to that.
No, it's not.
Even now I'm looking at him like, why did you think that? I have no idea. No idea. Regardless, good vibes to your fiance. And I hope everything with the wedding goes well. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So there's a lot of like pre-wedding anxiety and nerves over the event and everything like that. And then I think typically things tend to go smoother than you expect. But that's just because humans are real good at worrying about things. We get 300 bits from Jay Linebacker. Says, I'm sick of Ship of Theseus jokes. Once they were fresh and new, but after the subject's been reformatted so many times, taken apart and rewritten piece by piece, can you even call them jokes anymore? I think we should really deconstruct the joke a little bit.
I just watched Kepler Split go.
He is very happy we're home. He didn't really get to spend any time with us yesterday, so...
Because we were gone.
Because we were not here, so he's like, oh, yeah, this is great, thanks.
He is like wrapped around your thigh.
It's like he's giving me a hug. You can hug me, that's fine. I like hugs. We get 300 bits from Squid. Says, can I get some good vibes? I got a bad cold, or I got a cold bad enough for me to call in sick today, and I haven't slept through a whole night in 3 days. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad, Squid. Good vibes. Being sick sucks. It totally sucks. And if you're real sick, to the point where like you can't work and you haven't slept, then you just feel even more miserable. So I hope that you feel better soon. Gatorade. Sorry, it doesn't fix anything, but it always makes me feel better. If I'm sick, Campbell's chicken noodle soup, Gatorade. Every time. It doesn't. I don't know if it actually fixes me, but like.
You think it does?
My brain, my brain tells myself it's medicine. I'm like, this is medicine. It's just Gatorade. I'm like, this is medicine. I'm getting better. I speak it into existence. Squid says, I actually have Gatorade. So you're on the road to recovery. Imagine if I had a Gatorade sponsorship. First off, no. Second off, they'd be like, please don't make medical claims about Gatorade. I'd be like, Gatorade just fixes you. You just put it in your body. 19 months from Miss Mayhem 310. 14 from Eris D57. 300 bits from Goldmage. It says, off from work for holiday this morning, so I get to say hi while live. Was at work during the puzzle stream, but only an hour left to go. I think it's the first Steven stream I've seen where part of the VOD was muted. Yeah, that happens sometimes, and it's... I think in every situation it's ever happened has been a song mismatch. So on my end, it's like, hey, we had to mute the beginning of your VOD because you used song A. And I'm like,
This is a Luzzo song. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
And I'm like, I definitely didn't. In fact, the song is written on the screen, but it's an automated system and it doesn't know that. So, I'll get that taken care of. I just have to dispute it and be like, hey, song on screen, not same song. Gonna be kind of hard for you to make the claim that I used that song when on screen it's written Carlos. Anyway, I'll try and get that taken care of today. But again, I'm gonna get that out on YouTube, which there won't be any problems on YouTube. 500 some Spark Strike says, well, I got COVID over the weekend. That's bad.
I'm sorry.
So I decided to rewatch the Mario RPG streams to pass the time. Lamstrem was just as weird the second time around. God, I had forgotten about the concept of Lamstrem. It was when we had, there's an item in Super Mario RPG that turns enemies into lambs. And it's hard to get because you have to like use an item in battle like 30 or 60 times or something. Anyway, good vibes because COVID. I hope that we can, entertain you and help you pass time, but also I hope that you feel better soon. Lots of folks getting sick this week. Lots of folks. Is it the season? Is it the changing? Well, I mean, I guess with COVID it's a little different, but with colds, I mean, it's like changing weather sometimes. Anyway, stay well, everybody. We got 300 bits from Goldmage who says, unfortunately, I might not be going back to work for a bit. My father, who I live with, tested positive for COVID. There's another one! We're just gonna have to keep good vibes just rolling in chat. Mm-hmm. Good vibes to your dad, Goldmage. Because there's a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
We got 300 from Furry Zoe says, been a while since I could watch. This month has been super stressful from my schedule getting messed up to financial to my apartment inspection coming up. Can I get some good vibes? Good vibes.
Yeah.
Apartment inspection sucks. I mean, I wish you well on all facets, but apartment inspection just in general, I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's just in a general sense, I don't like someone coming into my house. Whether it's an inspector or, I don't know, Thomas. I wish you well. I hope some good vibes come your way. We got 45 months from Vegetable Sorbet, 21 months from whatever the heck this is. 30 bits of Satsy says, yesterday was long for me also. The appointment confirms I am capable of surgery, but still waiting on a date for my day surgery. And I've still got that cold from last time. At least now I can rest it off before I scream at admissions for an appointment. And I don't think we have Gatorade over here, only Lucozade. Sorry, I'm just gonna...
Give me the bird!
Just quickly
That's a turkey.
do a Google image search for Lucozade. This is something new. Lucozade. Lucozade is a British brand of soft drink manufactured and marketed by the Japanese company Suntory. Huh, okay. Wait a minute. Is it just Gatorade? No, it's not Gatorade. It's not owned by Gatorade, right? No.
No, Suntory.
Yeah, so it... Okay. The logo...
Yeah, the logo looks
The
like
logo
Gatorade.
looks the same. It looks like Gatorade's logo. Like, the font feels similar. It's got a little whoosh. What? I guess... if there's been something that's established long enough as like... Oh, yeah, thank you. If something has been established long enough as... like, this is sports drink, this is energy drink, then it would make sense that you would want to make your product also do that, because it's a subconscious thing in your brain where you're like, oh, okay. That's a sports drink. I can tell because it has the swoosh. Which, that sounds stupid, but also that is exactly how human brains work. Human brain, kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Honestly. That's fine. That's fine. Anyway, Satsy, I wish you well as you continue through the process here. And
It sucks in America for that thing, too. It's like, well...
Yeah.
Waiting on the scheduler to call me back. Oh. She had a death in the family. It's gonna be a bit.
Yeah, and then also sometimes they just don't call you back. And then you have to call them. And they're like surprised that you called. And it's like, well, you know, you said...
It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, you said you'd call me by the end of this week, which was 3 weeks ago. It's fine. It's fine. Hey! Brian Lewis. Brian Lewis, 97, gift him 5 subs. Thank you.
Thank you.
To Great Saber Catwoman, Italian Lad 1, Yay It's Gray, Glasses and Cake, and Wolf Dragon 5752. Brian, thank you. Appreciate it. We got 15 months from Persona X, or Persona EX. 300 bits from Genesis. It says, I guess I'm not the only one who's sick then. I've been sick since at least yesterday, probably longer. I could also use some good vibes. Also clown. It is, I'm going to be honest, I think there's been more sickness, like from this breakfast stream, than I have seen in definitely a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of folks are sick this week. A lot of folks are sick. Which I think, you know, for one, we send well wishes and good vibes to all those who are sick. And then number two, everyone who's not sick is just a little bit like on edge. Like, It's a rough week for folks. We get 300 bits of Moj Hat says, feeling that sickness. Every alert. Got COVID last week, but this Friday is when I'm getting married. That is also very similar to our earlier alert. We had to make adjustments to our wedding plans to try and make it happen while keeping plenty of precautions in place. Happy for wedding, but also good vibes, please. Everyone is so sick. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I'm wishing everybody well, man. Everyone's getting ill. Everyone's under the weather, either with a cold or COVID. Well, okay, more good vibes. We might hit a record for the amount of times we've had the good vibes emote in chat this morning. We got 35 months from Seraphim 2000. 500 bits from CJ the Grand Hunter says, Hell has no king, only a mayor. Now that's a song. Maybe by Meatloaf. 500 bits from Wondward Kret says, did a bunch of cleaning yesterday. I'm feeling very accomplished today, but also tired. Also bird. I mean, yeah, cleaning is good. Because mostly because of the... Is it serotonin? Which one is it? There's serotonin and there's...
Dopamine.
Serotonin is the one. I get my brain drugs confused sometimes. But you get the serotonin hit or the dopamine hit. You get the brain drug, and that's good. That is good. That's one of the huge benefits of cleaning. Not only is like then you have a clean house.
We got some more unpacking to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We'll talk about that in relation to our dining room and why there's more to do. Hanley says, please spare me a crumb of dopamine. I mean, that is the entire human existence. Is please spare a crumb of dopamine. We got 7 months from Sombre Noir. 39 months from Gold Mage 162.
Coffee.
Let's see. 300 bits from Shower Killer. Who says, new fan here. Was watching dinner stream VOD and heard the SpongeBob song. Okay. I see.
Coffee.
Oh, Tendercrut's giving 5 gift subs.
We got 10 gift subs.
5.
How many did I say?
10. You didn't get coffee this morning because you had Kepler. Counting with Steven. Thanks, Renee. Who runs the stream?
Not
Chaz.
me. I'm very bad at being able to
Be awake.
be awake. As much as I wish that I could be awake.
Tender
I'm
Crowd's
not.
5 gift subs went to Rebel Vince, Jam Hollis Fields, Levie Rose, Nine Blades, and Jenny in her feels. Thank you, Tender Crowd.
Appreciate it. Sorry, I did not get coffee specifically because the cat was on me. Mm-hmm. Which...
Give me the bird.
I don't. It's fine. I didn't need coffee.
No.
I didn't need that. I only needed
Kepler.
Kepler. Something hot and warm on my lap to wake me up. That's what wakes me up. It's fine. 300 Bits of Action Cat says, I bought some spices to make your spicy pumpkin pie recipe, Mal. I'm so excited to make it.
Yay!
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen that, Mal made a
Pumpkin pie.
pumpkin pie video. Oh God, what year was it?
2019?
2019?
I think so.
2018. I don't know when it was. Anyway, there's a video. It's Mal Bakes, because Mal bakes a pie.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Anyone that has made the recipe has been like, oh man, I really like this.
Yeah.
And it good. It real good.
It's spicy in the way that, like, it has flavor. Like, it's not like hot pepper spicy. It's like extra cinnamon and other stuff.
A hot pepper spicy
Like, there's no red pepper
pumpkin
flakes
pie
in it.
would be wild.
Yeah.
I don't know who wants that, but I don't think people want that.
Coffee.
Yeah. No one wants that.
No one wants that.
How many pepperonis? An eighth of a pepperoni.
Eighth of a pepperoni?
Yeah. Spiced versus spicy. That's right, Gold Mage.
There's actually names for the spice types. Steve Campos taught me them, and I don't remember them, what they are. There's like 4 or 5 different words for spicy that all mean different types of spicy, but I did not commit any of them to memory. But if anyone's interested in words,
They exist.
they exist. I just don't remember what
Do you
what they
remember
are.
any other single one of them?
No, they're all like technical words.
Okay.
But they describe like something being like mouth hot, something being spiced like that. I don't know. They're all very difficult words. I was kind of hoping someone would say one of them in chat, and I'd be like, "That's one," and none of them have popped up. No, not umami. I can't remember any of them.
Okay.
I wish I could.
Maybe we'll remember next time we talk to him.
Yeah. Steve knows a bunch of that. Steve made them up. I don't think Steve made them up.
Come here, buddy.
That's one. Thank you, Tenda.
Caspacin?
Yeah, capsaicin. Capsaicin is one of them.
Yes, that is like hot pepper.
But there's like 4, and they all define different types of heat. Allison might be the other one. I don't know. Capsaicin's the one I remember. But if you look up capsaicin and be like, other types of heat, it'll tell you all of the things.
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, this has been my knowledge for today. We get 300 bits from the Reload says, can I get good vibes? Reading about the chaos at TwitchCon spiked my anxiety badly this weekend. It's better now, but I'm worried about how to bring it up with my therapist later. Well, first off, good vibes. Second off, just, what's the word? Just reflect on the things and maybe write them down. When I want to talk to someone about something, what I tend to do is I tend to write down my thoughts, because it can help me navigate how I want to get from my point A to point B. So that might be helpful. We got 500 bits from CJ the Grand Hunter. It says, now how much do you think it costs to be mayor of hell for a day?
Just your soul.
That's kind of expensive for a day.
Uh-huh.
Personally. I don't know. I feel like maybe like a year. Like if hell is eternal, maybe like a year, and a day is real short. That's a really short time. Let's see. 300 bits from Mr. Viperfang says, well, I don't have COVID, but I am sick and tired of my body being sore all the time. Getting older sucks. It does suck. There are many things that sometimes you just at some point realize you can't do anymore. It's not that necessarily there's a specific time where you're like, I'm going to do this thing, and you can't do it. It's just you just very gradually move into this part of your life where one day you're like, oh, I haven't done this thing in a long time, and I know that if I tried, I would be in pain for forever.
My sides hurt.
Yeah, Mal's sides are hurting.
Right?
Your ribs are hurting.
I must have lifted something.
I'm sorry.
It was the cleaning of the floor in the dining room. That's what it was. Because I was bent over and pushed on the mop.
I mean, that's not impossible. It's certainly not impossible. We get 300 bits from Furry Zoe. Says, the other day I put groceries away, and when I went to put ice cream away, I was immediately met with confusion when I saw a jar of mayo staring back at me. I was so tired the night before that I failed to realize I had put mayo in the freezer until I saw it the next day at around 4 p.m.
Sometimes I catch myself putting Kepler's cat food can in a drawer.
Yeah. There's been times where I've
Coffee.
Today I almost put it where the freeze-dried Stella and Chewy is. I was like, oh, cat food go here. Wait, this is can.
Give me the
in the
bird.
past I have mixed up cereal and milk.
Once I watched you put the gallon of milk in the pantry.
Just and then just like a brief moment where your brain sends like one electrical impulse, like
The one brain cell is like, wait.
it's like wait, and you're like, your brain is like unfamiliar, and you're like, unfamiliar. Oh, but milk does not go here. Or milk, no. It's fine. It again. Your brain has to do a lot. When you wake up, there's a lot of stuff that's like, it's like booting up a computer. There's a lot of things going on. So in the morning, that's why I'm always a little nervous going down the stairs in the morning. It's like I'm waking up usually because of Kepler. So Kepler is like woken me up suddenly, and I'm like, what? I'm awake, okay. And he's like, well, take me downstairs, and I'm like, okay. So I get started down the stairs, and about a quarter of the way down the stairs is when my body's like, you sure? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure.
Throw brain in trash.
That's how I feel. 33 months from Wilhelm Heinlein. 41 months from Mitsashi09. 30 bits from Arpiga. It says, speaking of spice, how mad do you think the plants that developed spiciness as a defense mechanism are now mad that humans specifically seek them out for that spiciness? Hashtag weird thoughts. Don't eat me, I'm spicy. You're spicy? Oh boy.
Birds don't taste spice, but squirrels do. So they recommend putting...
Birds don't taste spice?
So they recommend putting, like, suet sometimes is flavored with, like, red pepper flakes because the squirrels won't eat it, but the birds will.
That's wild. Also, that means that the ones that can eat the most spicy wings are birds. I guess that'd be weird if birds were eating birds.
Moving on.
Who can win this Buffalo Wild Wings challenge? It's the bird walks in like, I'm a bird.
Words spoken after hours. Don't eat me, I'm spicy.
Oh. 500 bits of CJ the Grand Hunter says, it's only $100. And that, I think, is the final line of the verse from the Meatloaf song. Oh. You wanna get into hell, hell doesn't have a king. They got a mayor. How much does it cost to be a mayor in hell for a day? Well, it's only $100. That's my Meatloaf impression. Chess is I was waiting for it. I was like, I don't think that's a bad meatloaf. I think that's a pretty good meatloaf. Thanks. 7 months from Guardian Angel 61. 22 months from GA Studios. And 300 bits from CJ, the Grand Hunter, says, if you want to do it, look up Hale, Michigan. Is that a place?
Yeah.
That was a better meatloaf than Meatloaf himself. Rest in peace, Meatloaf. Let's tell you about our day yesterday.
And then we'll talk about puzzles.
Yesterday, we woke up in the morning at 7
a.m.
7:30. And we got in the car and we drove to Florence, South Carolina to go to the McLeod Children's Hospital. They have only started allowing visitors
that aren't like parents of patients.
Yeah, extraneous visitors in the last
2 week?
It's not very recent.
Yeah.
Very, very, very recent. And the coordinator had sent me an email and was like, we'd really like you guys to come back and see,
what's changed since 2018.
Yeah. So we did. We went and saw the...
There's a whole new wing.
Yeah, there's a whole new wing. We took the camera and filmed some stuff and filmed...
the nurses talking about things.
Yeah, kind of like some interview type footage. And it was really nice to be able to see what, where all of the extra life donations are going and getting a chance to see.
They were able to talk specifically about the things they've been able to purchase.
Yeah.
And where that money goes, like the nurse was saying, that money doesn't go towards my salary. That money goes towards treatments, equipment, or she named like 3 things, and it was like, she's like, it directly goes to the kids.
Yeah, 100% of the money
yeah.
goes towards helping children. And I don't know, it's one of those things that, like, you understand at a base level that the Children's Hospital is a real place, and I know that people generally associate Extra Life with playing games and wacky hijinks, which is true, but also, like, the root of all of that is a charity event to help children. And
so we got to see the new stuff they've done. They just moved into their new NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit for like preemie babies, and they moved in last summer. I think she said. I think
so.
Maybe.
It's fairly recent.
Yeah, and it went kind of from like one room of just rows of little tiny babies, and now they have like individual rooms, so things are quieter and calmer for the babies until they're able to like live on their own at home. And and we got to see what they're working on next, which is really cool because they're working on an activity play center for the the older kids, like the toddlers to teenagers, because they had like not a really great play area before, so they're working on that next.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. Can't not cry when you talk about it. I know.
They showed us a little baby diaper, and the thing was so tiny.
It's Extra Life is an important event because yes, it creates dog church, but also it creates money and revenue for the hospital to be able to do these sorts of things. So I'm excited to do it again. This is year 11.
Yep.
11. And as a reminder, the event is on October 29th. So we hope that you will be there. And we'll show totals at some point during the stream to see what the updated totals are. I know they definitely grew over the weekend, because I actually get an email every time there's an Extra Life donation, which is cool as we approach Extra Life, and then, you know, on Extra Life Day is a lot. I mute my emails. I'm like, I don't want to know today. Let's do the totals now because they're ready.
Big Brain Academy Wii degree.
And then also Elebits and Sonic being tied.
Yeah.
Reader Rabbit first grade. Oh my God,
Babysitting Mama's up there. Drama Team's on there too.
I feel like Reader Rabbit first grade could very potentially embarrass me. There's a high potential to be embarrassed by my inability to do first grade activities. But that could be entertaining. That could be very entertaining. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. How many days?
Brandon says you read for a living.
18.
Is it 18?
Yeah, but wait, it's Reader Rabbit, so it must be reading. I assumed that Reader Rabbit was all things. There was like math and science and more math.
Extra Life this year is you two, Alex, Haley, Dan, Lindsay, Brandon. Extra Life this year is Steven, me, Alex, Haley, Dan, Lindsay, Chaz, Jeff, and Brandon.
Yeah. Roland will not be here, but
No.
Roland is...
We've historically had a game for Roland on the list of ones because Roland helps us so much with things.
Yeah. Like, even being far away, he still is helpful.
Yeah.
But then also, he very directly had a huge role in helping us finish the Wii library. So 9 entire people. Yeah. This will be Alex and Haley's first Extra Life in the sense that they're on screen, but Haley has been a huge part of Extra Life since the very beginning. So, yeah. There was definitely a sound that came out of my screen, but there's so many strange sounds that come out of my screen that it's...
I wanted to also say, yesterday we had lunch with the Children's Miracle Network coordinator, our contact at the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's not super big into tech and like the world of Twitch and YouTube, and she was, asking us about, how things work, and we were explaining chat and what that means, and she shows up on the day of. Those of you that have seen her or might remember that. And I had asked Stephen, I said, is there a way like the moderators could like highlight her message so, we make sure we see it, because we may not be always looking at chat during the 20 plus hours we're streaming. And she's like, wait, mods? What are... And then we had to explain all of the moderators and everything the moderators do.
We blew her mind. Blew her mind. She was like, wait a minute, there's more people than the people in the room? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, we have an entire team of moderators that are, around the country or the world. We got folks in Canada. And I was like, yeah, they're also watching this stream.
Yep.
Except they are, in addition to watching the stream, focused a little bit more on the chat side, where they're trying to keep chat good, friendly place, and then also hand out helpful links. And it blew her mind. She was like, there's even more people. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of people. She's learning. Hey, Peggy. 23 bits from LB308 says, Peggy says, a Wii for Extra Life.
I should make a new Amazing Island.
See, the shareholders probably don't think that. You want it in your heart. The heart is where Peggy lives. But the shareholder, there's so much a woo. Is that... Who is that? Is that me?
It sounds like you and someone else.
Is it Alex? When did we oo-woo?
I don't remember. You and Josh. Yeah,
Josh, that's right, Josh. It was me and Josh. Yeah, we had breakfast stream and we did the oo-woo. Yeah, and that's the thing. I tried to tell Josh, I was like, be careful, because if you show up for like one stream and then you're just on alert forever, it's fine. 3 bits from Furious Kitty says, done with the bathtub so I can finally say something. I have officially recovered from COVID.
Yay!
So I will share good vibes with everyone. Love y'all. I mean, it's good for you, and I'm happy. And then also, especially after having so many earlier alerts that talked about being sick and having COVID especially, like that sort of thing I think is very good to hear. So, thank you. Thank you for sharing. 30 bits of Goldmate who says, I want a cookie. Ooh.
Maybe cookie.
Maybe cookie. 30 from Slick Duke says, I'm sorry, what was that ooh sound? I need to hear it again. It's in there now. You can't pry it out with a crowbar. 30 from Mr. Viper Thing says, gotta get in on this ooh madness. There's so many sounds.
Yeah.
30 from Radio Dress is clown interruption. We've interrupted the ooh.
So after the hospital yesterday, what did we do?
After the hospital, so again, I'm gonna kind of frame in this. We woke up at 7:30, went and did the hospital stuff, and then after the hospital stuff, we went on to Myrtle Beach. So we drove down to Myrtle Beach to spend some time with my family, and we decided what we were gonna do about phones for them, because we had talked about the fact that they had the 7s, the iPhone 7s, which basically aged out of iOS updates. And I was like, okay, well, I want to make sure that they still have, updates and stuff. However, we ended up not getting the iPhone 14 because there was a bunch of features that we wanted that were going to be in like the 15.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe. If they're not, that's also fine. Whatever. So, I wanted them to have something. So I ultimately decided on the XS. So we got my mom an XS and we got my dad an XS Max, and I was particularly excited about the phone for my dad because I feel like him specifically would benefit from having a bigger phone. I mean, not only is the display bigger and it's easier to see, but then also, like, my dad has really big hands, really big fingers, and like navigating on a phone is easier if you have a phone. Aw.
He messaged us this morning and said, thank you for my new phone. I love it.
He loves it. Now, the downside is that it did take me longer to do because when you're doing a phone transfer, the phone transfer itself does not take very long. The phone transfer is like 10, 15 minutes. However, if you're doing a phone transfer to a new phone and the new phone has an iOS update, then it has to download it. So you're not transferring just like the stuff, you have to update iOS. So the new phone had to get that update, and that took a long time because my parents' Wi-Fi is not perfect, and it's a huge update, and it took a long time. So by the time I was actually done with my dad's phone, it was going to be a lot longer to do my mom's phone. So we decided to just wait, and I think that'll be fine because it'll give my dad a chance to get used to it, and then whenever I switch over my mom's stuff, he'll be able to answer any of her questions.
Yep.
So
that's how it tends to go whenever there is a big update. When their old phones were getting updates, is your dad would learn it and then help her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a somewhat big change because the old phones had a physical button because the old phones had Touch ID and now it's Face ID, and my parents approach things very, very differently. Where my mom is very apprehensive about something new and is like, am I going to be able to figure this out? Am I going to learn this? And my dad's like, oh yeah. So I'm like, Dad, you swipe up instead of press a button. He's like, oh, that's really cool. And then he's just like swiping and doing all that. And so he's fine. He's fine, and she'll get it.
Yeah.
She'll get it. We get 300 bits from the Thrill Up. Says, so where's the OWO? We don't have OWO. but someday we probably will. Render from Mr. Right Frank says, do you think if we all trigger the uwu alert enough, we'll be able to will Uwuopolis into existence? I think that's how Uwuopolis was is made. You when you wish upon a uwu.
It's way too early.
Agreed. Render from LB who says, clown protest. Render from Satsy says, oh yeah, I have a new mug. Pumpkin! But I can't reasonably put cups to pumpkin because it's where I put my bone broth. Enjoy mug. Enjoy mug. The other thing I wanted to talk about, in addition to yesterday, which by the way, after we were done at my parents' house, we drove home and it was late, and we got home and I was like, I'm so tired. And actually, I have...
We also officially moved all of our things out of their house.
Oh, we did!
Besides, like, your stuff that's there from childhood that you never went through, like, after college or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My room at my parents' house is actually very much frozen in time. Like, very, very much frozen in time. It was weird because we moved everything out of there, and it's like, so everything that was in our old place is out. But then I went into my childhood room, and I was like, is there anything else in here that maybe I should take? And I did decide on Tiger Electronics Gamecom. It's like, oh, I'm missing a console. The Gamecom. So I brought that. But otherwise, I was looking at things, and I realized that things are very much frozen in time from when I was like 10. Like, I opened up a drawer, and there's a pack of like damage counters for Pokemon trading card game. There's a clarinet.
Why do you have a clarinet?
That's not what I meant to say. A recorder.
A recorder.
You know, clarinet light. Diet clarinet.
Yeah.
A recorder. A $5 recorder that every child must toot on.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many things in that room that they just have not been touched in over 20 years, and that's very strange. Mm-hmm. It's very strange. I did not bring it with me, but I could.
You do have a lot of instruments. You have a harmonica.
I have multiple harmonicas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I told Mao, I said if we ever if we're ever living in a different place, I said my one like fun extra room, if I could have one fun extra room that was not related to all of our work stuff, I said I would want a music room. I think that would be fun. I don't know if it would necessarily inspire me to spend the necessary time to do it, but I would like that. That would be really cool. So Super Thingy Bob says you don't have an accordion, so Alex says you I do have an accordion, actually.
His is a child accordion, right? He said it was like smaller than normal.
Yeah, I have a full-size accordion. Yeah. I have a lot of things. Maybe one day I will do a...
Isn't there a mandolin too? And a violin and...
Yeah. I have a mandolin and I have a violin and...
Those ones need work, I think. Those two in particular.
The two instruments I don't have that I would love to have is a banjo and a steel guitar.
Yeah.
So, I cannot play the violin. I just have a violin.
I know how to hold it because I played viola once in 2nd grade. And then when I was teaching, I was really good friends with the string teacher. And she showed me the grip on the bow was the grip they teach 2nd graders and taught me the adult grip.
Yeah. I don't think I have a kazoo.
No, I don't know. Why do you have a violin?
I have a violin because my grandfather had a violin. And I inherited some of his instruments. So I have some things. But I have... It's so interesting because like guitar was actually a very big part of my life for a very long time, and I have not regularly done anything with that. But I have several guitars, several acoustic guitars, several electric guitars,
a bass.
I do have a PV bass.
Yeah.
and then just a wild assortment of other instruments. Like I have a Telecaster, I have a Stratocaster, like I have a lot of different things, and I would like to do them. I would like to play them actually at some point.
What about the wall hung guitar? That was not on that list.
No, but we have that here.
Yeah,
and
that's
I would
here.
very much like to get that on the wall. So I'll play. I feel like that might be the secret to me, actually playing a little bit more, is if it was accessible.
Yeah.
The mental spoons necessary to be working on so many other things full time and then to go over and open a guitar case is actually extreme. But if it's on a wall and you can just go, that's better. So.
Guest appearance on Jules Channel 1. I'd like to visit someday out there.
Yeah, I would like to go see Jules at some point. And actually, it's funny because me and him talk every once in a while. I'd say we message each other at bare minimum like once every 2 months, just to see how the other person is doing. And every single time we talk, he has expressed to me how much he would like us to come see him. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I just this year and specifically this summer has been wild. I mean, I want to make time for it at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't know when. And I have not regularly played guitar, but all of the muscle memory for chords and stuff is definitely in my head. So I could at least play like rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
I could do that. That wouldn't be... I don't think that would be asking me to do too much. I think I could do it. Yeah. Next year. Speak it into existence. Next year. Anyway, I'm trying to think what else. Everything. That was it for yesterday.
Yeah, that was it for yesterday.
That was it for yesterday. I'm going to talk just briefly about Sunday and the fact that we did a puzzle stream, because there's a takeaway here that I want folks to know, and that is that set, which is our dining room,
Yeah.
is permanent. That's the big takeaway, is that we did not set all of this stuff up to do puzzles, LOL, big time fun thing. It's permanent. It is a new streaming setup. We have got additional equipment in order to regularly do things at a table. So that's the most exciting part, is that we can do puzzles or card games or board games or D&D or whatever we want to do at any time, because it's...
Dark Overlord says, that camera vlog? Now you know.
That's it's not like we moved all of our stuff downstairs and we're like, we'll do a puzzle, and then I was like, oh god, now breakfast room, we moved it back up. Like, it's additional stuff. And the story behind all of that and why we suddenly worked on that is also very wild. I'll give you the short version. The short version is I got an email from Twitch. And Twitch was like, based on previous casual non-video game talk content you've made in the past, which is breakfast stream, we would like to put you in a new program. And we want to know if you have any like non-video game stuff that you'd like to work on. And I was like... So, yeah, the reason that we're doing tabletop is a little... It should really just be things at a table. Things at the table stream. The reason that we're doing that now is actually Twitch. Because we've always wanted to do that since we moved here. But I figured that we would not have the resources to go forward with that until next year. Like, next year at the earliest, and probably not early next year. And the fact that Twitch reached out and made it possible was wild. The downside was that it all happened very, very fast. Very fast, because we kind of have this thing coming up called Extra Life, and that's already a thing to think about and worry about. And then in addition to that, there are so many other things that have been going on. So like trying to juggle all of this stuff and at the same time get things ready to do an entirely new streaming setup and location like that.
I mean,
that was hard.
Less than a week ago, our dining room was literally filled with stuff we had not unpacked.
Less than a week ago, we didn't even own most of the equipment.
Yeah.
Like, everything moved very, very quickly because, you know, the timeline for what Twitch was trying to do and what they wanted to do was fast. So, we made it happen, but...
That's true, Haley. We cleared out your puzzle room so fast. It's fine. All things are possible through friendship, which strengthens the streams.
There was,
It was Friday. No,
it was...
Thursday.
It was Thursday. Josh was over.
Yeah.
Alex and Haley and Josh were over, and we had dinner. We made shrimp tacos. And afterwards...
Alex was
like,
what if we just move a few things to help you out a little bit so that you can have things ready for Sunday?
And I was like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, I think you kind of need me to do it. So all 5 of us, like, in 20 minutes, cleared out the entire room. And it had been causing me wild amounts of stress. Because when all of this came through, when this offer came through, it was one of those things of like, okay, I should definitely do this. Like, the fact that this is sitting on my desk is like, this is great. Because it allows us to do a thing we want to do anyway, sooner. But the stress of it all was huge, and having friends step up and be like, hey, you're very stressed, we're gonna do this for you, is amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing. So
all the floors are now clean because we got the stuff out, so I was able to finish cleaning because that was the last room. We do have a lot of stuff now in our living room and kitchen, but it looks much less now. It's much more manageable, and it's sorted into piles. Like, there's a pile that's going to be stuff I need to go through for Goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it was helpful.
Yeah.
It was very, very helpful. So
what do I use to clean? So these floors, from what I can understand with no one telling us and just kind of making hypotheses about this house, is these floors were put in new before we moved in. And they are fake wood laminate, like the kind that like click together. And the dust of that, and I think they did the cutting of those boards in the house, the floors were very gross. And I cleaned them all with the laminate cleaner, and I was like, oh wow, these, like, I would flip up the mop and be like, ugh. And then, like, we'd walk around, and I was like, wow, our feet are still getting gross. So we had to re-clean all of our floors. And I think the laminate cleaner is not great that I was using. So I did a vinegar mix with water. And that really took up anything that was on the floor. And now the floors are clean. I just kind of sprayed it around and then mopped it up.
we got there.
Yeah.
It all happened very, very fast.
Yeah.
But it's done. So, and now we can do puzzle stream.
And now we don't have to wear shoes inside ever.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And now Haley can do push-in cam.
Renee says, gotta get you one of those fancy spin mops. I got one. I used it on the tile floors.
I'm just very happy that it's done because I was this stressed on Thursday, and that helped a lot. Mm-hmm. Now, admittedly, I became this stressed on Saturday, but that, it would have been worse. So I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful for that. LB308 gifted a sub to Link Haxor, and Mr. Viper Fan gifted a sub to Worker Bees. Thank you both.
Look at that cat.
You good cat. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the fast version of how we ended up getting
Doing
a chance
puzzles.
to do puzzles. And yeah, Saturday, the reason, oh yeah, you can have beans are updated. which is good. I got that done. I don't quite have the October 1st vlog out yet. That today.
Yeah.
Today. But at least beans are updated. Saturday was stressful just because it was the night before Puzzle Stream, and I was putting everything together, and I ran into a terrible problem, and I think I may have shared this on Puzzle Stream itself. I don't know. I'll share it here because I think that it's interesting. I think that it's interesting because it's stupid that it works this way. I just find, I'm just mad that this is how this technology works.
The mic?
No.
Oh.
Although I forgot about that. That's a different problem.
Yeah.
And this will be fun for any like tech people. If you're like into building computers, this I think this will be fun for you.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
As part of this, we have a new computer downstairs, a new streaming computer. Because again, do you really trust me to move a streaming computer up and down the stairs and not fall and die? You don't. So we have a new streaming computer downstairs, and the capture card that we've been using up here is a Blackmagic PCI card.
It goes in the computer.
It goes in the computer in a PCI slot. And I've really enjoyed using that card up here, so I got another one for downstairs. It's actually even more appropriate downstairs because it's 4 HDMI ports and you can have 4 cameras, which for a tabletop setup actually makes sense. Something we could potentially grow into if we want to go that route. So I got the card and I opened up the side of the computer and I was going to put it in, get everything set up, going through all the software updates and getting the software installed and everything, the firmware for all of the stuff. Open up OBS and the camera is running in, it's not in slow motion, but it's running like a few seconds behind. It's running a few seconds behind, and also it doesn't look quite crisp. Like there's a little problem and it's hard to put my finger on it. And when I do a recording with it in OBS, it's like something's clearly wrong. Like there is problems with the audio and it just, everything sounds off. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh God, what's wrong? So then I'm Googling it and I'm like, OBS preview lag, OBS recording problem. And I'm trying to like solve like what on earth this is because everything is set up the same up here. It was like if you move your hand, like on the preview here, everything is real time. Like I move my hand, I mean it's, well, real time as close as you can get. I move my hand and I see it moving.
Yeah.
Immediately. On the other one, it was like I moved my hand, and then a second later, my hand moved. So it was something was clearly wrong, and I was Googling it, trying to figure it out. And after working at it for a little bit and not solving it, I was like, I'm gonna go get another capture card. So I went upstairs and I grabbed a USB capture card and I hooked it up, and everything looked fine. And I was like, crap, that means there's something wrong with the capture card that I put in. And I was like, man, that really sucks, because I really want my equipment to work. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I don't have all that long and it'll be time to do Puzzle Stream. And I really need to get this working. And I had a brief thought. And I was like, I wonder if when I put the card in, if I put it in a slow PCI lane. Just had that brief thought and I was like, let me look this up. So I pulled the instruction manual for the motherboard and I was looking at what the lanes were rated for, and I put it in a 1X lane. And I was like, oh my God, I put it in a 1X lane. And you know what's stupid is that when you put a PCI card in a slower lane, the card still works. It doesn't make a card not work. It just makes a card work bad because it's a bandwidth issue. It's still sending data. It just can't send as much, which is terrifying because that means that it could briefly trick your brain into being like things are working. They're not. That is terrifying. And the thing is, it does make me wonder how many people with like less computer experience.
Oh, I would have never figured that out. I would have been like, well, guess that's how things are.
Yeah, or like, oh, this card's broken. I'm gonna send this card back. Sometimes you read reviews. Sometimes you read reviews of products and people are like, this is the third one I've had to send back because it's broken. And at that point, you're like, are they all broken? Are they? Are you sure? Are they everything broken? You've ordered 3 of this product and they're all broken? Or is something wrong on your end?
In college, you built a computer, which is my Windows computer right now. And I remember when you were building it, there was a problem. You were getting a kernel panic. And you learned that it was like...
Oh!
The Bluetooth adapter was the reason or something.
Nope. It was worse than that.
It was something like super small. I'm like, how did you figure this out?
You want to know the worst tech issue I've ever had? It was when I was still building Hackintoshes. I'd built a Hackintosh for the first time. And... I wish I had a drink. I was building a Hackintosh for the first time. And I kept getting kernel panics. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And eventually I figured it out. And I don't know how I figured this out. If the disk drive was reading data at a moment in which the system was using more than 3 gigs of RAM, the system would kernel panic. There was 6 gigs of RAM in that computer. If the memory being used was more than 50%, at the same time that the disk drive was reading data, the computer would kernel panic. That is insane. I figured this out because I could...
It was magic to me when you were like trying to figure that out. I was
the
like,
way
wow.
that I figured it out is that I could not install the Adobe CS collection. I am one of those crazy people that actually own a actual version of the CS collection. Like I bought it with money when I went to college, and I had physical discs for the Adobe CS collection. And
Before
you have to install
subscription.
it before, years before it did the thing, because they did really heavily discounted stuff for college students. So I actually own, somewhere in the house, God, I don't know, a physical collection of CS3, which is not that helpful now. Anyway, so I had that, and I was trying to install it, and I kept getting kernel panics. So eventually, I had everything. I had like console and activity monitor and everything open on the Mac, and I'm watching things, and I realized the second that the computer needed more than half of its memory, if I was actively pulling from the disk, it wouldn't work. So I solved this problem by swapping out the disk drive, because every device in that computer was SATA except the disk drive. The disk drive was IDE. And when I realized that, I was like, that's gotta be it. So I swapped out the disk drive to a SATA disk drive, and it worked. And I was like, I hate computers. I hate computers so much. This is so obscure. It's a miracle I figured it out. And computers are awful.
This is why my dad likes you. Because he does that with cars. He's like, he'll talk about cars forever, and then he's like, I hate cars. And when something goes wrong, he's like, cars are awful. You've got to fix them, and they're always... It's the same thing.
I just remember, and that was early Hackintosh stuff. That was early Hackintosh community. Getting Mac OS running on non-official hardware was a nightmare, and it was one of those things that like you couldn't update the computer. I mean, like getting a real Mac, getting a real iMac, because I did a laptop, getting a MacBook whenever I ended up getting one, and being able to click update was wild to me. I was like, you can update the computer? Because you couldn't just update the Hackintosh, it would die. You would update it, and you were definitely losing audio. Right out of the bat, you're definitely losing audio. High probability you're losing Ethernet. You have to redo all of that stuff. So like you have to you can update the computer, and then if it turns on, thank God. And then you have to slowly but surely inject all of these drivers to make things work.
Anyway, So the PCI slot in the new stream computer was slow, and then Stephen fixed it.
Yeah. And fun little follow-up about that. I looked up what the capture card is rated for, and it says that it needs to be in an 8x or a 16x lane. It's not actually in that. It's in a 4x lane. But the motherboard in the computer upstairs is the same, and it's also in a 4x lane. So it does work, and we're using it now. It works. But it should be in a faster lane. It should be in an 8 or a 16, but it's in a 4. And I think that because the card supports an immense amount of bandwidth, because it'll do you could run through this capture card 4 4K 60 HDR streams. Like you could attach 4 HDMI 2.0 devices all running 4K 60 HDR. And if you were to do that, you probably would need a 16x lane. But we're not doing that, so it works. And I'm glad we don't need the 16x lane, because the GPU is in the 16x lane, and that would be a nightmare. We'd have to basically build a completely new computer. Anyway,
The
so
microphone was also
as a reminder,
this is why Stephen was stressed on Saturday.
this is why I was stressed.
The PCI card was having a problem. There was a mic that was having a problem. He had to go take I only have one mic. My mic from my studio.
Jam asked how many computers I've built.
Big kitty jar.
I don't know, because I've built a bunch for friends too. Like in college, I remember we built one for
Taylor?
We built one for Taylor. We built one for Nick. Now we've built you one.
You have?
Have we? Or you just have my old one?
I have your old
You
one.
have my old one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cosmic says, I wonder if the card would chug with more cameras attached in the 4X lane. Yes. I feel very certain it would. But like, just as an example, we did Pokemon just fine. You know, and Pokemon was 3 different 1080p things hooked up to it, so that's no problem. But if you were to have multiple 4K 60 things running on it, I do think it would have a problem. Fortunately, we don't have that, and I don't think we have a reason to do that, so we should be fine. But if we ever ran into that problem in the future, we'd have to build a new computer. And honestly, in order to get us that many PCI slots, we'd probably have to build a full-size tower.
That one's not full size?
It's a mid-size.
I sent my dad a photo of you working on it. Because you had all the RGB on at the time, because it was just getting started.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, that's a big computer. And I was like, I don't think it's
A
big
lot.
computer.
Most people don't have full-size towers. A full-size tower is big. It's very, very big. But yeah, you can make them bigger if you want. I guess there's probably other ways to do. I'm not that's not the stuff. Don't worry, I got. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, Emerlar says full-size towers are borderline furniture. They are gigantic. They are super, super gigantic. But, you know, if you need it,
Yeah.
then you need it. You know, if that's what you need to have, then that's what you need to have. Most computers are mid-size. And then we got the old stream box, which I keep in there, and I do, like, I've been doing Stephen and Friends recordings with. It's just a little tiny thing. It's just a little box.
With a handle.
Little GameCube computer.
It's a bit bigger than a GameCube.
A little bigger than a GameCube. You know. I mean, I prefer mid-sized towers. We don't have a full-size tower in the house.
No.
And like, if I needed it, then sure. But would I prefer to have computers that aren't as big as dinosaurs? I would prefer that. Yeah, I would definitely prefer to have smaller stuff.
I saw someone who built a custom case to look like Prairie Frank Lloyd Wright style. And it has like stained glass in the front. Like Frank Lloyd Wright's stained glass
That's
look.
very
like how
cool.
he did it. It was
That's
the
very
front of
cool.
it. Oh, it was so cool.
That is very, very cool.
I
I mean,
showed
I
it
like
to Rhonda,
that.
and she was like, "That's really cool."
I like that. I mean, I'm in a weird spot also, right? Because like the only PCs that we have in the house are for either streaming or video games, and that's it. Like that's the only things they do. And actually, I was explaining this to the hospital coordinator. I was like, you know, when I turn on, we were talking about Windows and Mac, and I was like, you know, everything in the house is Apple stuff. You know, that's all of our normal things. And I said, the reason that we use Mac computers is primarily because we went to art school, and that's just everything that they used was Macintosh. So we became very used to that very quickly, and that's just what we used. I said, we have Windows computers. I said, we have like one application. I said, I turn on my Windows computer, and it has OBS. I'm just like, OBS. And that's how the computer runs, you know. So it's a very different way to use a computer, because most normal people would be like, oh, well, you know, you got Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, and it's like, no, we don't use any of that. It's just, please make stream do, and that's what we do. LB308 gifted a sub to I Crescendo. LB, thank you. Appreciate it.
What's coming up, Steven?
Things that are coming up.
We're mailing the painting today.
Yep. For the lucky individual who won
Blue Ribbon Display.
Mal's Stardew Valley painting, we'll be getting that mailed out.
Yep.
I am hoping I can take
a nap. Yeah.
A little nap.
And we have to go get groceries.
It's bad, man, because I have
the P.O. box.
We have things that we really need to do today, and there's some other extraneous stuff.
You gotta go try on a suit.
Today?
I told him Tuesday.
I just, you know, there's
Carly's wedding. Steven didn't have a suit.
Yeah, I just, you know, there's a lot going on, and I'm trying to survive. It feels like a survival battle, and getting through Sunday was a big deal. And it's not, I don't want anyone to think I didn't want to do it. I love doing it, but the stress of it, and you know, the work and stuff that went into it was a lot, and I'm glad to be over that hump, but like there's still so many other things that I'm trying to do, and Extra Life is approaching.
Yep.
Extra Life is in 18 days.
Yeah.
That's so... Thank you, Full Metal Gris. Here's an uwu to make you feel better. It does make me feel better. It can't not smile. Anyway, so yeah, there's some things that we have to try and do today. I'm just hoping I can, like, I really desperately need to get vlogs coming out, because that's becoming a thing. Also knowing that I shot a bunch of footage at the hospital, and that I need to like edit that down, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot. So there's a lot of things that I'm juggling, in addition to just feeling like I really need a nap. As far as other things that are going on, when my alarm goes off, I set the alarm for 10:30. I'm gonna go release the puzzle stream so you guys can have it on YouTube. So if you missed it and you don't want to watch it on Twitch, I understand. It'll be on YouTube, so you can watch it there. Other things, The Quarry is out on YouTube. Dan worked very, very quick, and those episodes are coming out. So if you missed watching The Quarry, you can watch it on YouTube, and then there will be another stream on Friday. Dan and not Dan.
Alex and Haley?
Alex and Haley. Dan is the editor. Alex and Haley will join us again for the continuation of The Quarry. And it'll be, up to this point, it hadn't really been spooky.
No, it hasn't been that spooky.
Hasn't really been spooky yet, but maybe it gets spooky on Friday. It's a build-up. They're building it up, so yeah. Yeah, we can. Yeah, Dan did do quick work. He did a really great job, and I really appreciate that. So
didn't the video come out that he did, the Steven and Friends Saturday Overwatch come out?
Yeah, the Overwatch.
He did that
video
too, really quick.
So yeah, Dan does great work, and yeah, I'm happy to...
Chaz says today is a Pokemon versus battle, right?
Maybe. Probably. Yeah, I think it's one of the verses. If it's not today, it's tomorrow. One of the days. Probably today. Wait, Chaz can tell, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Chaz... I think Chaz can find out. I think Chaz knows.
He knows.
He knows. He's either giving me like leading information, but if not, he has the.
It'll be the day.
He
last
has the
episode
power
you beat
to
you,
find out.
Manini.
He can see the scheduled videos, so he should be able to know. Yeah, so I believe that's today too. So, yeah. 2033 from Colin says, we have done a lot of ooh-woo, but what about the original ah-wee? Also, I just realized Peggy will return in 11 years.
I have a reminder on my phone.
Oh, I do too.
And I only recently started using reminders more, and it's at the top of the list every time, and I'm like, someday I'll be able to clear this alert.
The thing is, I definitely feel that I'm sure that iOS will still be around. I'm sure that reminders will still be in use because the basic act of phone tell you to do thing will still be around. So it's just funny to me because so many people's phones are going to go off that day.
Yep.
What a day to celebrate. I don't know that there's anything else in my life that I have made a reminder for, whatever it was, like 15 years in the future. Okay, Chaz confirmed it. Yes, Steven versus Mao round 8. So if you
round 8.
So if you haven't been watching the if you didn't watch the live stuff or you haven't been watching the VODs, you just want to check out the edited down episodes. Today is me and Mao having a fight. Good luck, retro actively. And I think that's basically it.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it. You know, we will be back on Thursday, obviously, and then I'm looking forward to the quarry on Friday. And the only other thing to announce is that we will be doing more puzzle.
Yeah, we got to finish the Victorian house.
We haven't decided on when that is. Mm-hmm. We probably should.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Alex and Haley.
Yeah.
Because right now, the puzzle is on the table under a box, so Kepler can't destroy it, because that would be sad. Mm-hmm. So we will be doing another one soon. I also want to know if all the pieces are there. We have not yet discovered this.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know for sure until we get to, like,
I mean, the
end.
parts that are done, we're not missing pieces. Like, we're not missing any from the ground or the porch.
Yeah.
And we're working on the walls and the roof.
Yeah, it does make me wonder, honestly, like, having worked on the 3D puzzle a little bit, like, is the 3D puzzle taking longer than a normal puzzle? Is it because of the 3D, or is that, like...
I haven't found it particularly challenging to assemble
because
it
we're
in 3D.
we're working on it in flat pieces.
Yeah. Like, I did the whole porch flat, and then once we got to that, I would just kind of
So I don't know that it's any more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think...
Noel says, did you put the wall on or did you restrain Mal? I did not put the wall on.
Was not allowed to add anymore.
No.
So she, you know... What is it that the teachers say? Like, pencils down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Pencils down, heads up.
Yeah, pencils down, heads up, that's it. And it is because 4 people are doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that is helpful. There are some activities that 4 people do not make it go faster. But puzzle is something that it definitely does, because people can just, like, independently work on getting things together, so. Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's it. We're done for realsies. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful morning, especially because, again, we had so many alerts this morning, folks that were sick in some way. Good vibes to all of you. I hope you get feeling better soon. And then we'll be back on Thursday morning for another breakfast stream.